where news comes first. This is WECT News at 11.
A scary situation for many high schoolers and their parents today after accusations of a student bringing a gun to school. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Frances Weller.
I'm John Evans. The student involved is facing charges. Now, this is the social media post that prompted authorities to put New Hanover High School on lockdown just after 10 this morning. It shows a student with a gun in one of the school's bathrooms. Now, authorities did not lift that lockdown until after noon.
Now, this is the second time a New Hanover County school has gone into a lockdown within the past several days. Hoggart went into a lockdown Friday after false reports of a shooting. WECT's Emma Dollenmayer spoke to the New Hanover County Schools Director of Safety. Emma, you're told staff followed all safety procedures.
That's right, Fran. Chuck Silverstein says parents were notified of the lockdown shortly after it was put into place. Right now, there is no clear backpack policy or metal detectors, but he says that's always up for discussion. A high school student at New Hanover High is being charged with felony possession of a weapon on educational property after this photo surfaced on social media. Security concerns led to a lockdown.
Safety in schools today is not a joking matter. It's not something we can take lightly.
Chuck Silverstein, the director of safety for the New Hanover County School District, said there is a procedure when these incidents happen. First, law enforcement is notified to evaluate the threat. Then law enforcement and the school administration decide if a lockdown should be put in place.
Today's incident, from students to staff to admin to teachers to law enforcement to central office personnel, everybody did what they were supposed to do today, and everything worked the way it was supposed to work. And that's a win in a potentially bad situation.
Silverstein says it is important to alert parents of what is happening. In today's instance, administration told parents the school was in lockdown due to a social media post they were investigating. Some parents took to Facebook to say the school should have been more transparent, providing more details. But Silverstein says at the time, law enforcement was still actively investigating the situation.
We want parents to know that we're sending them what we can, but we don't ever want to send a false message.
While it has not been revealed what the student's intent was with the social media post, Silverstein wants to remind all students to think twice about the decisions they're making when they walk through the school doors each day.
I understand sometimes students think things are funny, think it's cool to do things, but when it affects other people's lives and it could potentially put someone in danger or cause an entire school to go into lockdown, which causes other issues potentially, it's not fun. It's not a game. It's not a joke. It's not something that should be taken lightly.
I did speak with several school board members. One of them, Pat Bradford, said, quote, "It is a blessing no one was physically injured today. I am so relieved our board voted last month to create a board safety committee to look into making changes to keep our students, staff, and campuses safe. The need is clear," end quote. Fran Silverstein says if any student is feeling frightened or concerned after today, they shouldn't hesitate to reach out to a trusted adult or school administrator. He also says if you see something, you should always say something. The school board will meet tomorrow, where I'm told they will likely discuss today's incident at New Hanover High School.
All right, thanks so much, Emma. We'll stay tuned to see what the board has to say tomorrow.